You are listening to the Entrepreneur Diary Podcast, where entrepreneurs discuss the pros and cons of starting and running a business, investing, real estate, and all matters involving wealth and prosperity. Please support by subscribing and dropping a review wherever you are listening to or watching us.
Welcome back to another episode of the Entrepreneur Diary, where we discuss all topics, money, business, personal development, right? To sum it up, as we talk about making money, saving your money, growing your money, developing yourself above all, because we got to keep growing. I want to thank everyone who has come back for another episode. If you are listening to this via podcast, be it through Apple Podcasts or Spotify, I want to thank you. Please take the time to subscribe, review, leave us a comment. If you're watching us on YouTube, please help us grow this channel. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and drop a comment. You can also find us on social media, Entrepreneur Diary on Instagram and Facebook, mainly Instagram though. So I am your host, David, and for those of you who know me, know that especially recently, I've become like a very avid reader. I enjoy reading. I enjoy learning new things. And once there's a topic that I like, that I want to develop, I like to read books on it. And I don't have a problem investing money in books, investing basically in myself and learning. So I find myself searching through the net. And I was looking up for like list of books to recommend, being that I am still we should all always be on the learning stages. We should all be continuously reading. But right now I am reading a few books that I have read, and two of them one I'm almost done with, and I already have one lined up to read. So when I'm done with those books, then we'll talk about them. But I decided to search for a list for basically the best, because there's not one thing is I could like a book. Maybe you might not like it. So I decided, let me just search for a list of best entrepreneur books compiled by someone else, maybe a few someone else's. So I found this list. It's according to lifehack.org. And they have about 20 books. So I would just want to recommend them to you. If you read any of these and they've done any type of impact in your life, please leave it in the comments via podcast or YouTube. I want to hear. I want to know. Maybe it's a book that I haven't read. So let's get to it. So I'm assuming that this is not in any specific order. It doesn't mean if I name number one, it doesn't mean that it's number one the best. But these are the 20 best according to lifehack.org. These are the 20 all-time best entrepreneur books to make your business successful. So number one, they have here How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This is a book that's actually in my library. I recently bought it after listening to a podcast. I was listening to, it's called the Rat Race to a 5 podcast. And one of the guests, his name is Gonzalo Corzo. He's a huge, if not one of the best wholesalers in the Florida area. And he spoke about how he went to one of these, conventions, one of these like mastermind conventions. And he came out so pumped that this is one of the first books that he read. So according to that, he says it's great. In this book, Dale Carnegie breaks down all the steps you need to take in order to make friends with everyone you meet. It teaches you the etiquette of how to overcome competition or how to win over people who are closed-minded or simply not interested in your pitch. So maybe you might be like me. I'm sort of an introvert. And sometimes I don't mind being in front of cameras. I don't mind being in front of a microphone, doing podcasts and videos. When it comes to being with people, the shyness comes out. So that is something that I'm trying to unlearn and learn, more confidence, be more confident, and be able to pitch and I'm trying to learn sales skills, etc. So this is a book that they recommend. This is definitely one that I'll be reading. Number 2, they have Brian Tracy with The Psychology of Selling. Increase your sales faster and easier than you ever thought possible. This is based on the best-selling series, audio series, over 1 million sold. In this book, Brian Tracy gives you valuable information and strategies about how to make more selling by focusing on one thing, the person. Sometimes entrepreneurs forget the basics of selling and jump right over to get results. But in order to get results, you need to know the basics. Brian Tracy goes over the major points thoroughly. Again, this is according to lightpack.org and their list of the 20 all-time best entrepreneur books to make your business successful. This is actually written by Sarah Anton. Whatever creditors do. All right, so number 3, Who Moved My Cheese? An Amazing Way to Deal with Change in Your Work and in Your Life by Spencer Johnson. This is actually a book that says, okay, so Spencer Johnson, MD, forward by Kenneth Blanchard, PhD, co-authors of The 1 Minute Manager, the world's most popular management method. But this is one that's also in my library. It is on my list to read, and it has been recommended to me various times. So number 4 on the list, which is one of the most popular books, I would say, when you listen to podcasts such as Bigger Pockets podcast, and they ask like what's their number 1 like real estate book. Most people always mention Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki and Sharon Lecher. This book says here, this book will shine a light on the 9-to-5 job and the rat race that keeps you in that job you hate in order to pay the debts. He teaches you how to make your entrepreneurial dreams come true by giving you the cold, hard truth about wealth. It's not found by going to school, getting good grades, graduating with a diploma, or working for a secure company, according to the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I think that this is a book that I actually read. It's one of the first books that I recommended my wife read when we decided to start creating our businesses and actually put our foot forward, right, when it comes to the entrepreneurial spirit. And before we took any steps in any of our businesses, I wanted her to read this book because I think it's very important for us to understand the difference between assets and liabilities, and what the difference is when we buy assets, and how do we make our money grow, and how do we make our money make us money. So I think these are very valuable lessons within this book, so I do recommend it to everyone to read. And it's a book that you should read every so often, more than once. Sometimes we need a refresher. Sometimes we need to be reminded of the lessons. So great read. All right, number 5, they have here Rich Woman by Kim Kiyosaki. Says here, take charge of your money, take charge of your life. Kim Kiyosaki takes on the challenge to inform women everywhere about the power of money and how they can get a piece of that too. She empowers women to listen about their finances, to make sure that they don't depend on men for the rest of their lives. She teaches women from all ages how to create a budget, invest in real estate, stocks, or businesses, and how to use financial knowledge you have that the one they don't teach you in school to become wealthy and independent. It's actually a book I can recommend to my wife. So all you men out there, I mean, you can read any book, obviously, but it seems like this is a great book. Number 6, they have Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. This I have not read. He talks about the fast and emotional system and the slow, more logical system that makes up our whole mind. He breaks down the various effects of each system on our success, mentality, confidence, and teachability index. All right, number 7, they have The Startup of You Adapt to the Future, Invest in Your Future, and Transform Your Career by Reid Hoffman. In this book, Hoffman teaches you how to put yourself in the entrepreneurial mindset, even if you're still working for someone else. This will help you think like an entrepreneur at all times, which will motivate you to continue on your venture no matter what. This is actually a book that I think I should read. I'll definitely add this to my list. Being that I'm still a W-2 employee, like many of you that are listening, we might have the entrepreneurial spirit. We might maybe begin our business as a side hustles, which is what I have done, and my wife as well. So I think, this might be a great read for us who have the entrepreneur mindset but are still working for someone else. Number 8 is the 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. Escape the 9-to-5 Escape 9 to 5, live anywhere, and join the new rich. So, this is a book I think many people have heard of. I've actually read it as well. It's a great book because it talks about how, we work in jobs that maybe we might not like, and how to implement systems and how to systematize and automatize our businesses so that we just work on them, not in them, thus shrinking our time that is needed of us to run this business. So according to here, it says, nowadays everyone is looking for that easy fix, and becoming an entrepreneur is all about enjoying the wonders of life without having to work 40 hours a week. Timothy knows that, therefore, puts you in the right mindset to start building a business that will allow you to work on not 10, but 4 hours a week and still build a fortune. Number 9, they have the $100 Startup by Chris Guillebeau. Hope I'm not butchering this. It's a New York Times bestseller, and it says the $100 Startup: reinvent the way you make a living, do what you love, and create a new future. It's actually another book that I would like to read. I have always been a big fan of books that actually break things down for us, and I feel like it gives us hope. See, part of the reasons why I never really ventured into real entrepreneurship, like actually starting a business, was because we grew up with the mindset that it's not for people like us. We also we limited ourselves, basically. Now that I have learned and have developed myself more and keep developing myself, I've learned that we limit ourselves with the way we think. But I remember years ago, one of my favorite things to read were books that just broke it down, like how to invest with $50 or $100, things like that made it seem possible for people like me growing up. So in this book, he talks about 50 of the most amazing success stories of entrepreneurs who are making more than $50,000 and who started with only a few bucks in their bank accounts. This is a perfect book to motivate you to move forward. See exactly what I'm talking about. These are books that they motivate you to just move forward, to take steps. It seems actionable, it seems reasonable, it seems possible when we read things like this. Number 10, they have Click Millionaires by Scott Fox. Work less, live more with an internet business you love. So here Scott teaches us how to build an online business by going all over the tools that are available to you or to us. It's the perfect book to learn more about online business and how to utilize the software that has been available to you since you were a baby. Number 11, The E-Myth Revisited by Michael E. Gerber. Personally, I can say this is a great read. This is also a book that teaches you about systems, about how we break ourselves into, let's say, the business owner and the employee and the investor. And it basically, when we want to wear many hats, I mean, like everyone that starts a business, usually we wear many hats in the beginning. but eventually it is important for us to put systems in place to actually train people, to put systems where we can remove ourselves from the business and basically just overlook it instead of micromanaging or being involved in it directly. This is a great book for this. So Michael Gerber breaks down each myth and walks you through the real life steps of having a business and becoming successful as an entrepreneur in today's era. He wants to make sure you know the difference between working on your business and working in your business. Number 12, we have Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk. Yeah, Gary V, Crush It. So Gary, very motivating, persuasive person. The voice in this book is by motivating you to move on to your passion. In this book, he goes on the many reasons why you should stop sitting on your couch dreaming about the day you will get paid to do what you love. He wants you to get out of your comfort zone and create a happy and passionate life for yourself. Number 13, we have Founders at Work, Stories of Startups in Early Days. Interesting. This is by Jessica Livingston. Jessica goes over all the questions in her book, Founders at Work, by interviewing some of the biggest entrepreneurs in the world and asking all the right questions. How did Steve Wozniak from Apple grow his business? Where did Sabir Bhatia get the strength to move past obstacles? Examples. So far, yeah, we're on number 13. Number 14, we have The Art of Nonconformity by Chris Guillebeau. Set your own rules, live the life you want, and change the world. In this book, Chris talks about how to live the life you want, following the rules you create and the goals you set for yourself. This is a great and inspiring book for entrepreneurs who struggle with their ability to break away from their toxic entourage and make a run for it towards what they want most in life. Interesting. Okay, so I guess this is talking about for sometimes when we grow up and we have this circle that surrounds us. Jim Rohn saying that we are the median of the 5 people that most surround us. So, I mean, if you're surrounded by mediocre, then you will be mediocre. So I'm guessing this book, right? It says it teaches you how to break away from the toxic entourage, basically things that hold us back so we can move towards what we want most in life. Definitely going on my list. Number 15, The Lean Startup by Eric Ries. How today's entrepreneurs use continuous innovation to create radically successful businesses. In this book, they go over the various techniques an entrepreneur can use in order to create a business that will go against the odds and succeed. Number 16, we have The Entrepreneur Mind by Kevin D. Johnson. 100 Essential Beliefs, Characteristics, and Habits of Elite Entrepreneurs. Here we go. Let's see. So he talks about the different ways to change your way of thinking in order to start a business and make it grow and make it last. Interesting. By the end of the book, he makes sure you know when to keep going and when it's time to let go and start again. Being an entrepreneur means being able to get back up, and this book will teach you how to get back up without too many scars. It's like in the movie, what is it? I think it's in Creed. It says that right, life is going to hit you, but it's not about who hits the hardest. It's about who can get hit the hardest and keep moving. Number 17, we have Business Model Generation by Alexander Osterwalder. Okay, so this has pictures and graphs. The book must have a visionary entrepreneur. If you need calendars, post-its, and pictures, reminders in order to do something, this is for you. Build a successful business plan, and you'll build a successful business. Back to the basics. Interesting. Number 18, Rework by Jason Fried and David Heinemeier Hansen, founders of Basecamp. The two authors team up together to crunch down the basics and create a whole new system that will make you act upon your dreams and goals faster. All right, number 19, The Hard Thing About Hard Things by Ben Horowitz. So here Horowitz will give you advice on things that school doesn't seem to go over, like how to analyze problems and find solutions, or how difficult running a business actually is. These are great skills to have, let me tell you. Nowadays, it's like common sense just isn't so common anymore. Problem solving is just not there for many people. I mean, it's not judgment, it's just you don't know what you don't know. So I think this is great skills to have. And number 20, they have My Philosophy for Successful Living by Jim Rohn. I think this is a must-have. I think Jim Rohn has so much knowledge, like there's so much gold in his words. So according to Jim Rohn, living a successful life isn't about being selfish. It's about bringing value to people. It's about being kind to others and letting the good karma come back to you. Okay, so he pushes you to work hard towards your goals, but he also goes over what successful attitude should look like. All right, so I just want to thank you all who are still listening or watching. If you still are, thank you. Please subscribe, comment, review, give us 5 stars if you're listening to us on podcasts. If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. So yeah, I think this is a good list for people who are wanting to get into, if you're new to the whole entrepreneurship, if you're new to the whole entrepreneur mindset. I remember there were times where I just wanted to know what would be good books, what would be good information for me to start with. And I never had that. So, I mean, now you have to search. So, I mean, thankfully now we have the internet. Now we have so many platforms. We have podcasts. We have YouTube videos. There's so much information out there. So there's no excuse. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like, share, follow us on Instagram, Entrepreneur Diary. And then I guess we'll see you guys next time in the next episode of the Entrepreneur Diary.
You are listening to the Entrepreneur Diary podcast, where entrepreneurs discuss the pros and cons of starting and running a business, investing, real estate, and all matters involving wealth and prosperity. Please support by subscribing and dropping a review wherever you are listening to or watching us.